Coming up, learn about the slow decline of Omaha's primary newspaper, the World Herald.
Next, follow the plight of the supporters for medical cannabis as they attempt to gain signatures for their petition.
Then, see how the rising prices of grocery stores and supermarkets is related to the conflict in Ukraine.
All this and more on the Omaha News. Former KETV news director Roseanne Shannon says we're witnessing some of the best journalism in our lives right now. Good afternoon, I'm Pauline Dulang.
And I'm Crystal Quao. Even with great journalism, she says losing places like Omaha World Herald will come with serious ramifications. But deciding whether or not those consequences are significant is ultimately up to the people.
Since last fall, Alden Global Capital, a New York-based hedge fund notorious for severe cost-cutting and widespread layoffs at its newspapers, has been unsuccessful in buying out publisher Lee Enterprises. Lee Enterprises is the publisher for 90 newspapers in 26 states, including Nebraska's Omaha World Herald. Flatwater Free Press editor and former Omaha World Herald reporter Matthew Hansen says Alden is the worst of the worst. He also says Lee Enterprises isn't that much better.
There's still a lot of cost cutting that goes on.
Last month, Lee laid off 2 of its top editors. The Omaha World Herald Guild quickly responded, "How do we work for a company that lays off editors and just paid Lee Enterprise CEO Kevin Mowbray a $1.1 million bonus?"
The idea in and of itself of a print newspaper, yeah, that has an expiration date. The reporting and writing, that stuff is timeless.
The Omaha World Herald has the highest newspaper circulation in Nebraska, distributing nearly 98,000 newspapers a day. Younger generations say newspapers can be a bit of an inconvenience.
With so many pages, you have to flip through them, you have to find what you're looking for, but with social media, the internet, you just Google it.
Michelle relies on Twitter's algorithm to sort through content most relevant to what she interacts with.
First thing I do when I wake up is hop on Twitter.
Former KETV news director Roseanne Shannon says rather than it being the demise of print journalism, it's a shift to new mediums.
You'll probably see print go first, and they'll keep their online presence. What happens after that? You don't know. I mean, it's happening in real time, and it's happening very quickly.
Pew Research Center reports more than 8 in 10 Americans get news from digital devices. Hansen says whatever form journalism takes in the future doesn't matter as much as protecting the idea and existence of true journalism.
A town hall at the Fabric Lab welcomes local community members' questions and concerns. Some of those concerns were drug activity, no-knock warrants, and police brutality. Reporter Marge Johnson joins us in Studio A.
These town halls are part of an initiative to address various topics concerning North Omaha. I spoke with Chief Deputy Sheriff Wayne Hudson, and he says it's important for the community and law enforcement to interact. The town hall was a lively evening with about 25 attendees. One resident describes meth activity and more around her home that makes her feel unsafe.
I've been praying every day about this situation in my backyard.
Another questions how bystanders are affected by no-knock warrants.
Well, we don't know what really happened in that midst of everything.
Kiara Marche says she's concerned about how officers are investigated.
What steps or what processes we need to take besides filing a report.
Kiara says she is a victim of police brutality and the town hall was very informative.
But it didn't give me clarity of what changes will be made for police brutality.
The town hall topic was law enforcement. Douglas County Chief Deputy Sheriff and Omaha's Chief of Police answered them. Chief of Police Todd Schmatter says he's focused on violent crimes and shifting from a military approach to a guardian mentality.
The next step forward is how well can we work with the community and address the root causes of crime.
Chief Deputy Wayne Hudson says all attendees had good questions.
The community need to hear from their law enforcement executives, and they need to be able to ask questions. They need to be able to interact with law enforcement executives so that we kind of break that barrier down.
Hudson says some things law enforcement do are
awful but lawful.
With local politicians running for office and potential board members, which will be held April 19th. Back to you in the studio.
It's time to put away your snowblower and get ready to bring out your lawnmower. But you might want to make sure that you get it checked out before starting it. Millard North High School has hosted its annual lawnmower cleanup. Staff and students help the community to get ready for spring. Skills USA is an organization for high school students to participate in competitions learning different tools of the trade, such as welding, engineering, and baking. Skills USA participant Easton Warzarek says that Skills USA helps him grow and teaches him skills necessary for his personal life.
I really like to just work with my hands. Anything really, like I said, mechanical is what I like to do. Working on engines, working on different parts. Like I've been working on different cars for a while at my dad's house now.
Money raised at the events will go towards transporting students to the Skills USA state competition in Grand Island on April 7th. After the break, learn about the struggles artists and crafters of the Spring Festival went through to create their work.
And coming up, find out why supporters of medical cannabis are scrambling to get signatures fast.
Supporters.
There's a unique educational experience right here in Omaha. With access to top-rated programs, in-demand degrees, and a worldwide community of graduates, UNO prepares students for life, wherever it may lead. From Omaha to Italy to Uganda to Japan, Mavericks are working in communities around the globe. So where will a degree from UNO take you? UNO, access to exceptional, access to the world. Learn more at unomaha.edu.
Yeah, my name is Anna Bellinghausen. I'm one of the founders and the president of Women in Media Club, and I just want to be known as a person that would do anything to get a woman in the door anywhere. I want to be known as someone that paved the way for young women before me and that honored and respected the women that came before.
What I really like about this club is it's a really safe space. It's a space that allows us to do whatever, simply so we can benefit ourselves and also benefit the university that we go to.
There needed to be a door to open for these women, just something that they can easily go to, and that's the Women in Media Club.
Supporters of legalizing medical cannabis in Nebraska are working around the clock to get it on the voting ballot in November. Reporter Liam Fenwick joins us in Studio A.
Support for legalizing medical cannabis is still growing in Nebraska, even after it failed to make the voting ballot in 2020.
Time is running out for advocates that want to legalize medical cannabis in Nebraska. They need thousands of signatures for their petitions by July 7th. To get it on the voting ballot in November, Cade Kenworthy is the owner of the vape shop Remedies in Omaha. He says legalizing medical cannabis would be beneficial for the state.
I think it would considerably help people with ailments.
Kenworthy goes on to say that he has seen his own customers benefit from alternative cannabis products.
We had a older lady come in the other day who has a constant migraine, and she's taking a CBD product and an alternate cannabinoid product, and she's been to doctors, she's been to the Mayo Clinic, and nothing has helped her, and now these alternate cannabinoid products do help her.
Even though there is growing support for medical cannabis within the state, the petition still needs thousands of more signatures.
A statutory petition needs 87,000 valid signatures. Nebraskans for medical marijuana have 2 petitions hoping to collect more than that. Krista Eggers is the statewide campaign manager of Nebraskans for Medical Marijuana. She says the campaign is personal to her.
I have a child who has intractable epilepsy. That means that he seizes, actually honestly, hundreds of times a day, and he continues seizing despite any medical treatment. So we have tried every pharmaceutical drug, every combination of medications.
She goes on to say her organization is doing their best to gather signatures for their petitions.
We are gathering the necessary 250,000 raw signatures, overall signatures, across these two petitions.
After all the signatures are gathered, they would be sent to the Secretary of State to be certified for the ballot in November.
Egger says the petition can only be signed in person. To find locations to sign the petition or sign-in events, visit nebraskamarijuana.org. Back to you in the studio.
Among countless consumer items, food prices have not escaped inflation. Aside from economic echoes from the pandemic, reporter Crystal Quao delves into what is causing food price hikes and how fuel is involved.
People have noticed the rise in food prices, and it's projected to climb another 2 to 3% this year. Brian Lorenzo, grocery store worker at Omaha Tropical Market, says some of their suppliers have gone out of business.
Like we had like a pallet that used to come from this company, and they went out of business from the Philippines because they literally didn't have any workers that to work since the pandemic started.
The Consumer Price Index says grocery stores and supermarket food prices has increased over 3.5% since January last year. Trent Harley, one of the owners of No Name Nutrition Market, says prices go up all the time.
We have one company that delivers to us weekly, and it's $150 just on fuel to get here from Texas for one of our trucks. That's off the bottom line before anything else.
The Bureau of Labor Statistics says gas prices rose 42.7% over the last year. President Biden banned Russian oil imports 3 weeks ago. Russia is second to the U.S. in crude oil production. Research shows oil price changes tend to spill into the agricultural industry, even in food production. Petroleum is an ingredient inside inorganic fertilizers to support large-scale farming, along with gas needed for cooling and distribution. The impact on prices is visible with wheat, corn, soybeans, and sugar crops. Hence, the uptick is seen in cereals, bakery products, and foods with similar ingredients.
On the flip side, if companies aren't raising prices, they're more likely to decrease the product's quantity marginally, so the price stays the same.
As the Omaha Spring Festival allows for these arts and crafts vendors to share their work to the Omaha community, some noticeable changes have been affecting both crafters and customers. Reporter Nicholas Perry joins us live.
Some attendants at the festival may have seen less items to purchase than recent arts and crafts fairs due to the limited supply chain.
With climate changes, availability of natural resources, and more, many arts and crafters are facing supply chain issues within their business. Q1 of 2022 is still seeing supply chain shortages in arts and craft supplies. Due to the shortage, these crafters had to overcome these issues in different ways to keep their work in pursuit. Sole proprietor of Jeff Tadson Art, Jeff Tadson reveals how the supply chain shortage has affected his artwork.
I did have to use some alternative brands that I don't normally use. The biggest issue really with the supplies is my lumber.
Although arts and craft supplies have been in a shortage since 2021, a shortage in paint supplies is also on the rise according to CNBC this year. These crafters still find a way to sell and represent their work for the 2022 Spring Festival. Owner of IJ Studios, Jasmine Young explains how the upcoming paint shortage is impacting her work.
Majority of the works that I do are with acrylic paints. There's already been a shortage for about the last year globally, so there are colors that I can't get.
According to Canadian Forest Industries, the price of benchmark lumber item continued rising up by 16%. Owner of Midwest Game Crave, Benjamin Rollick explains how the lumber price increase may affect his future wooden projects.
Not a horrible impact on my cost yet, but I can't guarantee that won't change as, inflation hits and as material comes a little bit more scarce.
With an uncertain future, some artists and handcrafters are even considering digital art and NFTs to make up for the shortage of arts and craft supplies. Customers will have to be patient with their orders and understand price increases for some of these vendors to reduce complications on their end. Back to you in the studio.
When we come back, find out what makes Workshop, Omaha's only streetwear resale shop, so popular.
And in sports, women's soccer gets spring season underway with a win.
To the women who
You've paved the way.
To the women who paved the way.
You showed us we can be comfortable to be ourselves.
Comfortable to be ourselves.
Comfortable to be ourselves.
It doesn't always cut it just to do the same job that a man would do in that position, because we as women are judged differently.
That we can achieve anything we set our minds to.
Anything?
Anything. Anything we set our minds to.
Women are encouraged more. Women can see themselves in positions that they hadn't in the past. And there's a lot more role models.
Nebraska's finest, strongest, and most brilliant women.
International Women's Day means the whole world.
We honor you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Create your next adventure and travel the world at Omaha's award-winning Henry Dorley Zoo.
For me, it's about understanding the process of communication and what we learn through that process.
So something that you'll find within the School of Communication graduate program is that there is such a rich field of expertise.
I can think of no other discipline where we spend so much time focusing on not just one side of the conversation, but all sides of the conversation.
Not only do you get to work closely with other graduate students that come from all different walks of life, but you get to learn from graduate faculty that take those perspectives and help you grow yourself in a way that teaches you to be an academic, but also lets you be you in a really unique way.
I chose UNL very specifically, not just because I live here, I'm proud to represent here, but because I thought their program offered strengths that I didn't see in other programs.
Omaha women's soccer got its first taste of the spring season with the matchup against Kansas last weekend. Reporter Avery Howard spoke with redshirt junior Reagan Zimmers to learn more about what went into that 1-0 victory over the Jayhawks.
This program's never beat KU. It's been a tie or they've lost by 1. And yes, it is a spring game. You could say it's not as serious as a fall game, but beating a Big 12 team is beating a Big 12 team no matter what season it is. So what was that emotion like for you guys in general?
It was a Sunday, Saturday in Omaha in March. Like, what more can you ask for being a Big 12 team on a Sunday, Saturday? We coming off the field, it was more kind of like a sigh of relief. It was like this last 2 months that we have put our, sweat in, our blood, sweat, and tears in, if you want to say it, into that weight room, into these practices. It was like, okay, it finally showed. Obviously, like you said, losing that senior group, we've kind of changed how we played. We want to, keep the ball more. We don't want to play as direct. We want to try and make some triangles here and off the field. And so to be able to do that and have no expectations, but to exceed all expectations in the way that we played Saturday, it was so cool. It's an unreal feeling. And I think just all emotions were on the table after the game on Saturday.
From the pitch to the diamond, the Omaha baseball team earned its 4th walk-off win 3-2 over St. Thomas on Sunday. And there's been a common denominator in all those nail-biters. It's senior Harrison Dank. Reporter Jordan McAlpine caught up with the outfielder to talk about coming up clutch in crunch time.
When the game is on the line, the pressure is at an all-time high. But for Harrison Dank, he's developed a knack of rising to the occasion.
I think that's every kind of baseball player's dream growing up, is to be up at the plate when your team needs you the most, or to be out in the field when your team needs you the most on a play.
A senior from Andale, Kansas, Dank has been a key part of the Omaha lineup, but he's also making an impact as a leader. When his team has needed him the most, Dank has come through, and it's something he takes a lot of pride in.
It's important to come up for your team big in big situations. And so going through my head in those situations, I'm just trying to simplify everything. I'm just trying to make everything as easy as I possibly can for myself, and then hopefully make a play for our team, ultimately leading to a win.
Dank and the Mavericks have won 4 of their last 6 and will look to keep that momentum going. Omaha travels to Oral Roberts this weekend, who is the Summit League preseason favorite. For the Omaha News, I'm Jordan McAlpine.
With such an important series this weekend, expect the team to be sporting some fresh cuts thanks to junior catcher Eddie Rosario. Reporter Cody Harms has a story on Eddie's contributions on the diamond and inside the locker room barbershop.
Omaha catcher Eddie Rosario has seen an increased role in head coach Evan Porter's lineup this season, but says playing time isn't his main priority.
I'm just trying to help the team right now. That's been always my goal, win a championship, and I like to win.
Like most college students, Eddie also needed an income. What started off as something to make money quickly grew into a passion.
When Eddie's not behind the plate catching, he's behind the barbershop chair, giving his teammates the perfect fade.
I tried it with some of my teammates, and I liked it, so I started looking videos and keep practicing on some of my guys, practice on myself a lot.
Among the many Omaha athletes' hair Eddie cuts, his teammate Eddie Satisky is a regular customer. Satisky says he was shown a couple of pictures and put all of his trust in Eddie.
I was looking for a new barber, new city, new barber. So a lot of the guys told me that we had a barber on the team.
For the Omaha News, I'm Cody Harms.
Well, Eddie will be first on my list to call when I need a haircut. That'll do it for this week in Omaha Athletics. Tune in next Wednesday for more news on the Mavericks.
Coming up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Faded grass to a full.
I never thought I'd be standing in the clouds looking down on the ancient ruins of the Incan Empire. I never thought I'd live among the street artists in Valparaiso. I never thought I'd make friends that would last a lifetime. Adventure's out there, and as Mavericks, it's up to us to find it. Stop thinking, start doing. Visit educationabroad.unomaha.edu.
NetWar brings gaming for a good cause, coming to Baxter Arena April 9th. NetWar 40.0 is a 29-hour charity gaming LAN event coming to the Baxter Arena on April 9th, starting at 10 a.m. and runs to 3 p.m. on April 10th. This event marks the 20th anniversary of NetWar. The organization has put together a full schedule of activities to celebrate.
For 20 years, we tried getting a lot of things put together to have additional activities within the event. So more than just our traditional gaming, which our attendees love to come for, we're kind of expanded out into additional sponsors, additional booths.
All proceeds raised from the event go to a charity to help local hospitals bring games to its patients. NetWar is a bring your own system event, so you'll want to remember to bring everything you need to play your games. For more information and a schedule of the event, visit netwar.org.
Will Smith apologized to comedian Chris Rock on Monday for slapping him during Sunday night's Oscar Awards. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences denounced his actions and opened an inquiry into the incident. The formal review will take weeks to complete.
Finally, today, there's only one place in Omaha where you can shop for exclusive streetwear brands, including Supreme, Bape, and Off-White, as well as any exclusive shoes you may have missed out on. Reporter Dakota Bachman meets the owners to discuss the long road they endured when opening the popular store.
Reduce, reuse, resell. The motto behind Omaha's only streetwear resale shop. That means if you want to physically hold an authentic pair of limited sneakers or an exclusive Supreme drop, Workshop is the place to go. The items in the store have been carefully curated by co-owners Stefan Drinsick and Trey Matthews, making it different than any other store in the city. Drinsick has spent time building an extensive collection of vintage and unique items.
Thrifting was kind of a thing that I kind of picked up in college with a couple of my friends. It was kind of like a pastime to do to entertain us, and thrifting turned into collecting this, hoarding that, acquiring these things that I might not ever wear, but I still thought they were cool. And you know, whether it was sneakers that were falling apart or whether it was like a little toy from like a Disney movie when I was younger, I just always saw a little bit of like random value in these things.
Workshop is Omaha's premier streetwear retailer and was built after a series of pop-up shops which eventually became a full-time storefront. Trey Matthews began selling popular streetwear brand Bape to his classmates in 8th grade and now co-owns and operates a store with a growing number of jobs.
We now have a team of 6 people, not counting myself and Stefan. We've got 2 managers and 4 other associates.
Matthews and Drinsick felt the use of pop-up shops would help them collect enough consumer data and test the market as to how well they could perform in Omaha, as they are the first store of its kind in the city. If you're having trouble finding Workshop, just remember, it's in the alley. For the Omaha News, I'm Dakota Bachman.
Matthews and Drinsick are thankful for the support shown by the community after opening their doors in October of 2020. They have seen unprecedented growth in an unestablished market in the Omaha area. The pair now have an eyes on expanding to different areas across the metro with their proven success. That's all for today. Join us again next week for more news and entertainment in the Heartland.
Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at UNO, the Omaha News, or find our website for even more news and stories at unomaha.com.
From all of us here at UNO Television, thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time.
Lyle, calm down.
Welcome to the Omaha News. We are Omaha.
The complex was condemned by the city in January for numerous safety reasons.
We are truth tellers and award winners.
They process and recycle approximately 100,000 tons of material.
We are a community of strength and a team of big dreams. We are the Omaha News, where the people are the story.
You know, I'd always pretend to call the game, and it's like it was a lifelong dream of mine, and now that I'm starting to fulfill that dream, it's been awesome.
With the UNO School of Communication, your dream begins today.
An unbelievable experience. I'm extremely grateful that I get to do it.
And it is so exciting to see what they can do and what they want to do.
What can you say about your Maverick team?
The deadline is now.
It is the longest-running Omaha-based statewide television program on the air today. Hi everyone, I'm Kathy Wyatt, producer and host of Consider This. Now in our 25th season, we wish to acknowledge those who have made this educational journey possible. our guests, underwriters, student crews, the Knowledge Network, the University of Nebraska at Omaha, and of course, viewers just like you. Thank you for watching.